What's good, everybody? Hope y'all been well. It's been a minute since I did one of these face cam videos, so I'd figured I'd kind of go back to the old format for a little bit and show y'all how to make a soulful beat for Rod Wave from scratch. I think that's enough for the intro, so let's just hop right into the sample. For the tempo, I went with something a little slower for a Rod Wave or a Pain type of beat. I ended up going with 156 beats per minute. The sound for the first two patterns is the same thing. It's this wash piano preset from Keyscape, and I turned the reverb amount down a little bit. So both the sample and the beat for this are in C# minor. So the first pattern that I laid down were these chords. It's using a slightly different progression than I normally use. Normally I use a 1-7-6 progression. For this one I used a 1-7-3 instead. But pretty much what I did is I just have these bass notes here. I hit shift click and then hit control and the up arrow a couple times to move it up here. Once I had that, I just built the chords around those root notes. For the most part, I'm just using notes from the C# minor scale to fill it out. As you can probably see, I also have a few of these other notes to kind of give the chords a little more motion. So the second pattern is the top melody to that first one, and it's using the same sound. And with this, I just played it in on my MIDI keyboard. And once I was done, I went in and manually adjusted them as needed. As you can also tell, the velocities are also kind of adjusted too. For the most part, I'm just using all the notes in the C# minor scale, except for the 6th note in the scale. After the first two piano melodies, I opened up the Evolution Infinity guitar bank in Kontakt, and I got the Showstopper lead. I switched the squeal mode to unmapped and then just put the sustain all the way to 127. Under the tone section, I turned down the boost on the distortion. And similar to the last top melody, I just used my MIDI keyboard to pencil in these notes. And the same rule kind of applies. I'm using almost all the notes in the C# minor scale except for the 6th note A. And you're probably able to hear that some of the notes had a little bit of a vibrato to them. I don't have another camera, but on my MIDI keyboard, I just took this knob right here and I mapped it to the pitch and just used it like that. The pitch knob on normal keyboards looks a little different. I went to my Kontakt here and I put the range to 4. So to record the channel pitch in, I went up to the record here and then hit notes and automation. I played over it again, and using that pitch knob, I just made the little vibrato by moving it back and forth kind of quickly. So if I go to the channel pitch here, you can see that these are the places where I have the vibrato or the bend. So I cloned the same sound in the channel rack. I opened up a new pattern, and in here I just put in a second melody. This is about an octave up from the last one, and the notes are a little different. Similar to the last one, I played in the notes with my keyboard, and I went in after and put in the vibratos with the pitch automation. After that, I went to X-Band and I got this Mark II tremolo preset from the E-piano section. And this pattern has the same exact MIDI from the first pattern, except I deleted those low bass notes. And this is just meant to layer with the piano to give it a little more depth. After putting down the E-piano, I went to Omnisphere and I got this choir preset. Similar to the last sound, I'm just using this to layer on with the piano. Then after that, I threw in a couple guitar accents, the first being this wah sound. The normal pitch version of it sounds like this. Then I got this one. And again, pitched it accordingly. So in context with everything that we have so far, this is what it sounds like. For my last couple sounds, I just threw in this crash transition, and then I opened X-Band and got this next fretless preset from the bass guitar section, and just put in this pattern that pretty much just follows the root notes of the piano with a few little accent notes here and there. So overall, that's pretty much the sample, so let's just jump right into the drums. So I opened the sample into a new FLP. The original project tempo was 156, and I set the mode to stretch. Then I moved it to 161. For the drums, I just wanted it to be a little faster. As for the drums, I tried to keep this fairly basic and straightforward because we already had a bunch of layers for the melodies. For my first couple drum sounds, I just have a basic clap and a pretty standard hi-hat sound. The clap is just on the third beat of every measure. The hi-hats are pretty simple. It's just a 2-step, and I use the 1/2 step snap to grid and the paintbrush to just draw in a few rolls. After that, I just threw in a pretty simple snare pattern using a Luger snare. And then after that, I opened up this open hat and I just put in a pretty simple pattern. The primary notes are just hitting on the second beat of the 4th and 8th measures. Then I put down a rack kick, and this primarily just layers with the 808. Lastly, I just put in a boosted spins 808, and pretty much like the bass guitar, I'm just following the root notes of those piano chords. So it's the 1-6-3 pattern. So that's it for this one. Thank you for watching and making it all the way to the end. I have a Google Forms link in the description so you can leave me video recommendations there. I'm working on some new loop kits as we speak, so stay tuned for those. That's going to round it out for this one, so I'll see you on the next one. Peace.